telly, but I always want to rename shows with what I think they should be called. Like, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here should be called, oh yeah, I remember him, he was in that thing with that woman. I love Darren Brown's shows. He's a great manipulator of the mind, isn't he? He's even convinced us all he's not called Darren. Jamie Oliver's just done a show on 15-minute meals. Last time it was 30-minute meals, this time 15. I'm just going to hang on. I'll wait till they're 3-minute meals. Because he's finally got himself a bloody microwave. They say television's for everyone, but some programmes are clearly aimed at blokes. Saying that, Ross Kemp is a guilty pleasure of mine. Ross Kemp on gangs. Ross Kemp on toast. And if he's unreasonable and a little bit weepy, it's just Ross Kemp on. And if I need a little bit of testosterone, I quite like watching Danny Dyer. They seem to be sick of using the word dangerous in his programme, so they've started using slightly softer language, but saying it in that gruff voice. They say people have been naughty. No, Danny, he's a murderer. He needs to go to prison, not on a bloody step.
There's gonna be a kerfuffle. A bit of a to-do.
World's deadliest hoo-haws. I've been watching a lot of Man versus Food.
That is good shit, isn't it?
I read on his Facebook page, not that I've been checking him out or anything, that he's retired. And I thought, he's finally full. I used to think comedy was my dream job. Nope. There must be an opening for a woman versus food. I travel the world, eating big dinners with people clapping when I've finished. I'm not even that bothered about the travelling bit. I'd like to see a British version of Ice Road Truckers, where Rav Wilden has to start a car on a chilly morning. But it's all right, because he's got de-icer and a Boots Advantage card for scraping. Actually, I love Ice Road Truckers. It's not often you get to see 30-metre skid marks. That's enough about blokey shows. What I enjoy is stuff like The One Show and This Morning. I love the gear changes that they do. Do you know what I mean? Where the subjects can vary so dramatically, you have to get your voice right. Let's see if I can do a gear change now. It's lovely to have Nigel Havers on.
Herpes affects millions.
Sex in the City, and one of my male friends told me that the reason there's a lot of female nudity is to encourage more male viewers. That's bullshit. If that were true, Ross Kemp on gangs would have bits in it that say, "We're going through hostile terrain surrounded by landmines and temperatures of over 40 degrees Celsius. So what shoes would you recommend, Terry?" I love those makeover shows, especially 10 years younger. I'd like to ring up and say, "Hello, is that 10 years younger? Can I go on twice, please?" I like it when they revisit the people they've made over. Are you happier?
Well, thanks to you, I'm saddled with catalogue debt keeping this up.
I see Surprise, Surprise has returned to our screens, but I do miss Cilla Black. We always used to watch it on a Sunday night as a family, and every week, without fail, my mum would lean over to me and my sister and go,
"There's a reason that we're not in touch with some of our family." So don't get any ideas, right?
Another thing I love is craft shows. You know, the kind of thing presented by Kirstie Allsopp. I loved craft at school. The best thing about it was painting PVA glue on your hands, then peeling it off. Oh, you like that? You could pretend you had eczema. Oh, the fun we had. My sister made a coil pot for me mum at school out of clay. My mum decided to give it a good soak in the sink, as her and my dad had been using it as an ashtray. But when she put her hands in the sink, it had disintegrated. When I say coil pot, it's made from coiling a sausage of clay around in a circle. It wasn't meant to be somewhere for my mum to keep that coil. She kept that inside anyway. The annoying thing when someone makes you a present is that you can't take it back. You have to take it apart and hand a small bag of stuff into Hobbycraft.
I think this lot's yours.
I think I could get into pottery, but only if you played Unchained Melody and a ghost was feeling me tits at the time. In Kirstie's Homemade Home, Kirstie takes what's in your house and makes something amazing out of it. I'll follow her lead and turn my boyfriend into a beanbag chair. She does amazing things. She blew a molten glass bauble and made a wreath, which is great, because if I tried to blow a glass bauble, I probably would need a wreath as well. Please welcome the woman who makes everything around her lovely and also makes everything around her. It's Kirstie Allsopp. Show, lovely Kirstie.
It's very nice to be here on your vintage set.
It is. Old, thanks.
It is.
Now, people often think that you and Phil Spencer are an item, don't they?
Yes.
Have you ever thought, fuck it, I'm going to have a go on that? People are thinking it, I might as well have a go.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I can deny it till I'm blue in the face. It doesn't convince anyone.
So you have?
No. It's a very hard to explain relationship. And it just, we haven't. People say, you must have some late night in a hotel room.
Yeah.
You must have. But we just haven't.
Really?
Yeah, it would be like snogging your brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't got a brother, but I can imagine.
Yeah.
What's the best offer Phil has given you? This is all of the questions. You do know they're all about this.
Yeah.
Have you touched it? That's the next. Do you get a deal from estate agents because they know who you are?
Phil and I believe that all estate agents are not bad and that there are some very good estate agents who get a bad rap.
Really?
So,
Do you really believe that?
We really
Wow.
believe that.
Can you point out the ones that are nice?
Yes, yeah.
We don't know any, do we?
We had one estate agent gazumped a client of ours and we were firm.
Gazumped is a great word,
Yeah,
isn't it? It
gazumped
sounds a lot more fun than it actually is,
No,
doesn't
it's
it?
horrible. Yeah.
Have you and Phil ever gazumped? Do you really do all of this craft stuff at home? Your loft must just be full of crap, is it?
It's absolutely full of crap. I do a lot of fixing at home. I don't get to do that many starting afresh new projects, which is a bit sad. But the fixing and the mending and the sewing things together...
Takes up less time as well, though, doesn't it? You can fit it in easily.
You can start it. I have a whole little collection of little clamps. You know, like big clamps. Actually, let's not go there.
Tell us about your clamps, Kirstie. Tell us about your different-sized clamps.
You know, like, imagine that this was desk, this bit was coming off the desk.
Yes,
and you had
I'd just bin it. I'd bin the whole desk. My boyfriend takes lots of magazines and newspapers into the toilet. Is that sort of upcycling it into a library?
Well, what you can do with the magazines is decoupage. So you can cut pictures out and then stick them. Like, I could decoupage one of these tables. And whatever magazines he likes, you could just theme that table.
Like a tit table?
Yeah.
Come on in. I did this myself. You do a lot of gluing, don't you?
Yes.
What's the stickiest substance you've ever come across?
Adhesive carpet spray.
Good answer.
Yes.
That was mine as well.
Some African tribes, I don't know if you know this, some African tribes use a mixture of semen and blood to glue their drum skins down. That one's not an euphemism, by the way. Would that work on Christmas cards?
The smell.
It's the stirring that I think bothers me. You've got to stir it together so that it's
What, they've got
blended.
to emulsify it?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know, I've made that bit up.
Yeah, okay.
What is macaroni, and is it the same as other pastas? You've made your own babies, haven't you?
Yes.
That must be the toughest craft there is. Was there much stitching and gluing then, or...?
A lot of stitching.
A lot of stitching?
£11, 11 ounces.
Wowzers. Oh, my God. That is huge.
Yeah, that is huge, yeah. But that was at the sunroof.
Do you still love that one?
Yes. But it was a caesarean section in the end, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously.
As it should be.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'd be on a cushion still now. You've got a book out at the moment, haven't you? Yes, you have. Yeah. And I followed your advice, and instead of buying it, I've made a copy. This is it here.
Oh. Beautiful. Oh, I love that dress. That is beautiful.
Wait till you find out what I've stuck it down with. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kirstie Allsopp. She washes her hands first. My boyfriend can't stand craft shows, but he loves sci-fi. I quite like sci-fi, but I feel that sometimes there's a cop-out at the end. It's like the writers are sitting at 10 to 4 and they're stuck on how to end a show, so the lazy bastards just reverse the polarity, whatever that means. Or it turns out it all happened in the holodeck, which is the pretendy room. It's like when we had to write a story at school, and at the end of the lesson, the teacher would say, you've got 10 minutes to finish your story. So every single story I wrote as a kid ended no matter what was happening with, and they all went home and had their tea. We went to see Doctor Who live because my boyfriend's in his 30s. And in the interval, he stood in a queue to meet one of the scarecrows, you know, the silent ones, in a queue of 5-year-olds. I took a photo of them. He is the happiest I've ever seen him. I know I'll never make him that happy. I could get some sackcloth.
I could be quiet for you.
Totally couldn't. If I had to have sex with an alien in Doctor Who, it would be the Ood. Do you remember them? They look like they've had loads of tagliatelle just hanging down. And I think that would be pretty special down there. I like Brian Cox because I think he's made science sexy, hasn't he? I like his astronomy shows. I've always been quite into astronomy, although I don't really know anything about it. When we first got together, me and my boyfriend went away to the country. We stayed in a little cabin. He kept calling it a chalet, but it was definitely a cabin. One night we came out and the sky was really clear, and he said, I'm going to show you some constellations. He pointed out Orion, and I thought, I know that one. But I went, ooh. And then he said, that's the North Star. And I thought, I know that one and all. But I said, you're so knowledgeable. Then he said, there's the plough. And I thought, right, that's me done. I only know those 3. Everything else from now on in is learning. He looked around and he went, There's another plough. And I said, you don't know any more than I do. We saw 5 ploughs that night. And then he saved me from a bear. We were in the Lake District. I said it was probably a badger, but we insist it was a bear. It was very low down, so it must have been going on its arms. It was wearing a black and white stripy hat. The only thing I remember from science at school is that when there was a fire, the lab burned down with a green flame. Oh, and always let a Bunsen burner cool down before you start pretending it's a willy. Otherwise you burn your lips. One time in science we had to wire up a frog to a battery, and it turned out that was the last year of the French exchange programme. We did experiments burning magnesium, growing cress, and seeing how long it took to make the supply teacher cry. For most of us, biology class was the first time we got a good look at a man's penis. He doesn't teach anymore. In physics, we learned that moisture can reduce friction, although Kirstie and Andrews had already learnt that round the back of the bike shed. They taught us about all the great scientists. All I remember about Galileo is that they would not let him go. Let him go! I want to find out more about science, so please welcome scientist, doctor, TV presenter and all-round clever clogs, Michael Mosley. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Now, you're my favourite scientist, but because you do stuff that people are interested in, like food and the body and food. You swallowed a camera to show the workings of your inside, didn't you?
I did indeed, yeah.
You had to drink 4 pints of laxative at one point.
I did. That was to get, basically, to clear out the system before I had to swallow the camera. And it was very unfortunate because that evening I was going to dinner with the Director General of the BBC and everything exploded. And I had to... It was a very, very bad moment, but I was beautifully clean by the time I swallowed the camera the next morning. If you ever do it, my top tip to you would be don't go out to dinner. Really don't. Just stay very, very close to a toilet. Do not, whatever you do, take the train.
To be honest, every time I've been on a train, it feels like you've already been on there. You've had your legs waxed and you ate chocolates until you were sick. Were you just a bit depressed at the time?
Really, really distressing because the hair has not grown back.
They look better than mine. Tell us about your famous 5 to 2 diet. Is that what time you have your second dinner?
It's basically fasting. I wondered about fasting, so I did this film because I was a bit overweight. I was about 13.5 stone. I went through a whole...
Sorry. Is that what overweight sounds like?
Yeah,
is it?
that's what doctors call it.
Tonight. Thanks for that.
And they put me through an MRI machine. They told me I was a toffee. And a toffee is somebody who's thin on the outside, fat inside. And they showed me all these sort of images with my kidneys and my liver just encased in fat. And they said, you've got to do something about this. So I decided I would
So you're like a thin person with a fat person trying to get out?
That is the one. The fat person is trapped inside.
So you went on this diet?
I went on the diet. And what happens is I fast 2 days a week. So on a Monday...
So hold on.
Yeah.
When you say fast...
I have 500 calories.
How many menstruals is that?
About 3, yeah.
That's 3 menstruals?
No, it's about 2 packets.
On those days? Are you working on those days?
Yeah, I feel absolutely fine. I mean, the interesting
Really?
thing about the science of fasting is we get used to just eating 3 meals a day and we do that all the time.
Sorry, 3.
4, 5, 6. So the idea of kind of eating a lot less for one day is really quite shocking. But when you do it, it's actually all right. Give it a go.
No.
Really, honestly. No. You can eat
I'm
what you
struggling to
want.
get between meals.
I'm going to challenge you on that one. I'm going to come back and see the super slim one. It works.
I don't respond well to peer pressure. You can't make us, you're not me mum. Now, you say that going to the gym is a waste of time because then you have a muffin. Can I just ask where this gym is?
almost every gym. What people do is they go to the gym, they do the exercise, and then they reward themselves. So actually, exercise very rarely helps people lose weight. In fact, they did one piece of research, and they found that people ate more simply when they started thinking about doing exercise.
Well, yeah, because the thought of exercise makes me depressed. One of the things you talk about that really interests me is the golden ratio. You're going to do a little bit of a demonstration for me, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
OK, let's go to my lab.
We're good to go.
OK. So tell me more about this, then, about the golden ratio.
It's basically the golden mean, the divine proportion. It was something the Greeks discovered, and it's probably best if I show on these guys.
Yeah, so my delivery's arrived.
Okay. I think this is extraordinary. Okay, so...
I think it's extraordinary as well.
There you go. I'm just going to measure from his...
From his what?
From his belly button. Right, that's 112, and to the top of his head, just up there. And that is 68. So that is 1.64, OK?
OK.
And I'm about to do it some more.
OK.
Let's go there.
So what we're measuring now, Michael?
I'm measuring the length of her forearm here. That is 1.56, OK?
Right.
So you're kind of beginning to see a pattern here. OK, I think you'll do your face. Let's go down there. I think I should not have used the indelible one. So that gives you a ratio of 1.6. And what you see there...
Before we go on, before we do magic sums, tell me about this. Now, we know this, don't we? Do we know this, ladies? We know this, don't we? That, apparently, if you must know this, that this is the same size as your vagina. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. This is,
Well,
it's wholly new.
it's mine. Is that not a thing?
It's not a thing I've ever heard of.
Do as you sums.
Sorry. OK, so what you see here is a ratio of approximately 1.6, 1.62. The divine proportion is a number of 1.62 is the absolute epitome of perfection. So he should be ever so slightly longer in the leg. Your arms are very good. Your face is beautiful.
OK. So I've got some cards
Pretty
here.
up.
So, George Clooney, who sort of...
Yeah.
See, that even the audience all went, ooh, ooh. He's like the ultimate, isn't he, really?
He is. George is beautiful. He is 12 inches by... He is 12 inches by 7.5, which is approximately 1.61. So he has absolutely beautiful proportions there.
OK, what about somebody who's close to my heart, Philip Schofield? What do you think? Let's have a measure of him.
He's too fat in the face, and his teeth...
Harsh.
He's close. His nose is right for his mouth, because if I look at the proportions there...
His nose is right for his mouth.
He's got a ratio, which is the right one, of about 1.6. His mouth is 1.6 times wider than his nose. And that's the proportion you're looking for.
Well, he's still perfect to me, so... And what about, like, just... These are obviously people that we recognise off the telly. What about just, like, a normal bloke? We got this picture. What about just a normal bloke?
You look at him and you think he's a serial killer, isn't he? Something like that. No, I mean, he's really skewy.
I'm going to tell him to his face, because he's in the audience. I think you look lovely, Flower.
It's my rugby nose.
It's your rugby nose that makes you look a bit skewy.
I have to say, you look at that and his nose is almost as wide as his mouth, which is not a good look.
But I bet his wife loves him. Am I right? Yes. Oh, yeah, she's got a ring on her finger. That's good. OK, let's do some comparisons.
Yeah.
OK. OK.
Looking out at the audience here.
Whoa, Mick Hucknall's not in, don't worry. Mick Hucknall, and then Michael Mosley.
Now, what's interesting about Mick Hucknall is he's not a looker, is he? And he's basically got an almost square face.
Yes.
I reckon he's about 1.4.
Ooh, that's weak, isn't it?
That's bad.
What about you? Is that
no, a bit fat-faced, I'd say.
Bit like a serial killer?
Get your own back, Flower.
What about Angelina?
Ooh.
Oh, OK, you're interested. And this woman. Let me.
You want to go?
I think I can fix her a bit. I mean, she's all right, isn't she? You know, but I think if I just did like that might help you compare them. Does that help?
That's perfect.
So is she pretty much perfect?
She is really as close to perfect as it gets. I had a look at her earlier, and her proportions are all perfect.
On your phone, was it?
I didn't try. I haven't tried that one. But they have actually, somebody has, a gynecologist has examined 5,000 uteruses, and he's discovered that the perfect womb is basically a ratio of 1 to 1.6. There you go.
It works the same inside and out?
Inside and outside. It's perfect, yes.
And what about this one
I think
here?
she's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know who she is. I don't think I've ever seen her before. But the ratio is just spectacular. But what I'd like to do, I don't know about her, but I'd quite like to do you. So I think the nose there. We're getting the look now. And of course,
We're just having fun now, aren't you?
and let's see. Ooh.
Don't ooh. What is ooh? I can't breathe now.
Perfect. You're absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
Absolutely
bless you.
gorgeous.
Better than...
Just a little bit more, I think. There.
Oh, yeah. Blend it into the actual tash, why don't you? Better than her?
Which do we prefer? We're going to move.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Mosley. Better than Angelina. I bet Brad Pitt's regretting that. Call me. Look at the size of that. That's it for tonight. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to talk about Trini and Susanna. In fact, no one has for 5 years. For God's sake, one of you go into the bloody jungle. Oh, Gok One, who now says he'll make you look like a goddess. 6 arms and the head of an elephant. About Chris Tarrant's new show, Extreme Railways. That's when you tried to get from Manchester to London for under 100 quid after 4 p.m. on a Friday. And we haven't had time to talk about Inside Nature's Giants, which I thought was Peter Andre's documentary about his honeymoon with Jordan. Good night.
Toning the comedy down a notch or two, it's Newsnight, coming up next here on BBC HD.